There are tons of different ways to build frogs, but by far the best way to play it right now is FORGS, aka Fishborg Frogs, a deck designed to be as efficient as possible when it comes to going through your frog engine. It plays Fishborg Blaster as a way to synchro summon, and this deck's win condition is to take advantage of a ton of draw cards to OTK your opponent as fast as possible. Plus, while this deck is exceedingly efficient at its win condition, another strength lies in its ability to side 15 cards out to smokescreen into a control build, making this deck extremely hard to side against. You basically put your opponent on a 50-50 coin flip on what deck you're actually playing. This is one of, if not the best deck in the format right now. It's resilient, consistent, and if I'm being honest, extremely hard to play. So to do it justice, I'll be making 2 videos on it. The first video is the one you're watching, and it will be about me dipping my toes into the ocean that is this deck. The second video will be after I've practiced this deck and looked up resources to fully grasp how to play it. Welcome to part 1 of the finale for Master of Faster. Let's rev it up. So here's the deck list we're working with. I only have a general idea on how to play it, and while I've practiced it a little bit on and off with some friends, there's still a ton of room for growth. So here's the gist of how the deck plays. Fishborg Blaster can discard a card to bring itself back so long as you have a level 3 or lower water on the field. This turns into tribute fodder for Substitute as long as you have a lot of cards to discard, but thanks to this deck running cards like Salvage, Moray of Greed, and Reckless Greed, you more often than not have a lot of cards in hand. Next, this deck also plays Dandelion as another way to get to tributes for Substitute, which in turn means more free synchro material. This also alleviates the issue of discard fodder if you don't have ways to replenish your hand. And the last piece of the puzzle is the fact that this deck runs 3 Death Frog. Since it's a level 5 frog, you can summon off of Substitute. Death Frog plus Fishborg can make any relevant level 6 synchro, and if you throw in any level 2 frog into the mix, you can synchro for a level 8 instead. All of these add up and make this deck an OTK machine. But now that you know how this deck works, how did I do with very little practice? Okay, so for this segment, I usually go to a big tournament, but my locals Easy Gaming has started alternating between Edison and GOAT for Saturday tournaments, and this week we ran Edison. We had about 7 entrants, so this was a 3-round tournament. Round 1, I was up against my friend Sam Kerrigan on his usual Machina Ancient Gears. He won the dice roll and set 3 cards, dust shooting me in my draw phase. He spins back my Substitute, and when I try T-setting, he snipes my back row with Mystical Space Typhoon in the end phase. He sets another card and passes, and honestly, I just have to buy some time. I set another monster and pass, and Sam makes a push with Mausoleum of the Emperor, paying 2,000 to summon an Ancient Gear Dragon. He swings over my Fishborg and passes. I decide that I have to try to make a push here, so I use Brain Con to take his dragon, but on resolution, he compulses it back to hand. This makes me have to pass, but seeing as all he did was set a monster on his next turn, I have another chance. I drew into True Nade and begin comboing, but honestly, I didn't have quite enough resources to do anything crazy, so I end up not swinging in for lethal. To make matters worse, the monster I swung over was Peacekeeper, which searches him Gear Frame. Thanks to this, he's able to break my board, but for whatever reason, he leaves up Substitute. Since all of my frog engine is in the graveyard, it's not doing much, but it'd be insane if I drew into Pot of Avarice here. I don't, but Sam compulses my Substitute, thinking that I had more engine. I had drawn into Gore, so I set the Substitute and pray that this gourd can last long enough until I get Avarice. Gore stops me from dying on the next turn, and what do you know? I draw Avarice. I bring back Treeborn, and while my draws off of Avarice don't give me a big play this turn, since the Gore's token is at 3k, I could wall up until I need to make a play and win the game. Game 2, Sam goes first and hits me with this board. Now, in the past, I have absolutely gotten destroyed by this man's Morphing Jar, so I prepare for it. I MST one of his back row and T-set. As expected, the Morphing Jar flips up, and I discard my awful hand of 2 Fishborg and Dandelion, allowing me to set up even further. He can't OTK me, and he even couldn't swing over my Dupe Frog, so he just has to pass. I draw, and while I can't make a push here, I have 2 copies of Reckless Greed, so I'm pretty sure I can make one on my next turn. He makes a push to get rid of my monsters, netting me a copy of Swap Frog, and when I draw for turn, I flip up both Reckless Greeds and draw 4. I do indeed see what I need to see. True Nade clears the back row, and I go for the Colossal Fighter OTK. Good games to Sam. Round 2, I'm up against Ben on Zombie Heroes. This one was a bit rough for me. Game 1, I have trouble getting my engine online, and when I do, I make the incorrect read and get massively punished for it. Game 2, I absolutely should have lost, but since Ben is newer to Edison Format, he didn't see the line to out the dupe soft lock, which allows me to combo off on the following turn and take Game 2. And Game 3, 3, I got straight up destroyed. Like, oh my goodness. Regardless, great games to Ben. And lastly, for round 3, I'm up against my main man, Nick Dushayman, aka Rail My Dad, and he was playing Machina Hero. Now, this is the match that I'm salty about, and here's why. This is the game state. I don't have a way to clear the back row and have to just pray it's a battle trap. It seems to be, as he doesn't torrential me at a good choke point, and I established Stardust Dragon early in the combo, but now, in the moment, it's pretty easy to lose track of how many discards you'll need to perform these combos, and this was one of those times. Before making Colossal Fighter, I totally could have made a Bryonac and bounced it to hand, but since I didn't see the line, I just had to pray this card wasn't Dimensional Prison. I'm super disappointed in myself for this one, and it was such a fumble. Oh my god. And to make matters worse, game 2, I just couldn't get anything going and lost. LMAO. But with these matches out of the way, how am I feeling about this deck? So while I didn't do great at this tournament, it doesn't change my opinion at all on this deck. I'm just not good at it yet, which was honestly the expected result. I didn't put like any real research into it outside of the siding patterns, so both of the losses were my fault and probably would not have gone that way if I had more experience. And I still personally think that this is the best deck in Edison. It has its flaws for sure, but it's way too consistent, and I think that makes it a menace. Next time I make a video on this deck, I'll make sure to have practiced a lot and looked up resources. But in the meantime, please make sure to subscribe. I try to post videos weekly, and if you want to be notified on when new videos drop, join the Discord. I'll have a link in the description and in the comments. But my name is Goki, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next Master of Faster. Let's rev it up!